It was Napoleon who said the British are a nation of shopkeepers, and he should know. He bought his stack-heeled shoes at Freeman Hardy and Willis. Open All Hours boasts the finest comic pairing ever to grace our screens. No, I don't mean those ones. I refer, of course, to Ronnie Barker and David Jason, or should I say, the Sorcerer and his Apprentice. Open All Hours is warm, witty, true, rude, ridiculous, but most importantly, it is very, very funny. And it's for that reason that I'm nominating it as Britain's best sitcom. Catch, Granville?
I was wondering if you could give me directions to Abercorn Street.
Give you? Give you directions to Abercorn? I can sell you directions to Abercorn Street.
Arkwright is an impossibly mean old bat, and I'm still amazed why you like him at the end of the day.
It'll be £3.29, Mrs. Blewett, thank you.
£3 odd for a little bag of groceries like that?
Well, I can put it in a bigger bag for you if you like.
Of course it's about a shop, but it's about a very mean man.
And a quarter of a mixed sweet. Thank you very much.
He's awful. I mean, he's avaricious, he's lascivious. He tries to cheat every single customer that comes into his shop. And yet, we love him.
That's the idea. Well done, and you certainly have been.
Even though he's such a miser, he's such a lovely, lovely character. You can't help but like him.
We've got to alert people to the perils of being robbed.
Listen, if people have been coming in here on a regular basis, they're already alert to the perils of being robbed.
It is a mental exercise. I couldn't imagine any other actor but Ronnie Barker playing Arkwright.
You know your inside leg? As well as anybody.
Working with Ronnie was truly an education.
That's your change. That's just right.
He taught me so much. Not teaching me and sort of saying, now, here's a board, now, look here, this is what's funny, this is how you stutter and all that, but just by being with him, listening to him, watching how he developed and how he created his moments.
Well, whether or not you retain that lofty position depends entirely, you may be surprised to learn, on how fast you can shift your genuine Jamaican ginger cake.
But he can shift it faster than you can say it.
So when I was working with Ronnie, I refer to him as the governor, because he's the best.
Genuine Jamaican ginger cakes? What do you mean genuine? They've never been anywhere near Jamaica.
What's that got to do with it? We sell Mars bars, don't we?
But it wasn't the first time Granville had worked with Arkwright. The two had done the odd job together before.
I'm just having fun, that's all.
David Jason, I first met on a thing called The Odd Job.
Yes? Any odd jobs? Odd jobs?
I was a suicidal character. I mean, I wanted to commit suicide but couldn't, daren't. So I suddenly thought, get someone else to kill me when I'm not looking.
Would you help me out?
How do you mean?
Kill me.
You want me to bump you off?
Yeah.
He said, what, just kill you? You kept me in that. Just kill you. No, kill you. I said, yeah. All right. I said, but don't let me know when it is.
Well, I suppose we...
I'd seen David Jason in farce in the West End and in various television series, and you knew that he was going to be a huge star. I mean, within the acting fraternity, he's always reckoned, you know, like reckoned as a good actor, and he's going to do it. You know. Who knew it would be as big as this? Only Ronnie Barker knew that. He knew that.
It's going to be fine and bright. Didn't you hear the weather forecast?
The 4-4 forecast, that's 3 4s are 12. Don't you mean the weather 12 cast?
Yeah.
The thing that David brought is the physical side of it. And he's also very good at words, too. And the two of them together just sparked all the time.
You think I'll ever find the time to get married?
Why bother, eh? Why bother? Your father never did.
Granville, I love Granville's dreamy quality.
I always remember the one when Granville finds the legs, and he takes these female legs. Well, you did have some fun with that. That's funny, that's just clever, but that's character-driven, isn't it?
You know what you are, you gotta be a star.
He was still a child at heart, so when he saw that, it was a great childlike thing to do.
By the end, I think David was getting as well known as Ronnie. It was really wonderful the way he went up the ladder.
I have the difficulty formulating my words.
Really? I'm sure it's not noticeable.
When I retired, I wrote out a big scroll on parchment and gave it to him, which said that you are now the governor. I've retired. I'm the ex-governor. You take over the role of governor. So he's now governor. He's now the governor.
A glorious smut. It's a healthy smut. It's an all-right smut.
Oh, Nurse Gladys Emmanuel, you've got wonderful knees. Naturally, my thoughts are above such things.
I, as you might know, collect postcards. I've got a lot of postcards. Some of which are the sort of saucy Edwardian seaside postcards. It's very similar to some of the Arkwright stuff.
Postcard humour and Open All Hours are so similar because he uses a lot of innuendo.
The times I've tried to persuade her to allow me to become a private patient. You think I'd be allowed to boop her now we're engaged?
We all know what he means. We all know what they do, but they don't say it.
Just because your husbands are gone off for a few weeks?
With another woman.
Oh, well, maybe they just happen to be going in the same direction.
She's pregnant.
Oh, my goodness, they must have been going in opposite directions.
Yeah, I think us Brits, we like a bit of healthy vulgarity, don't you?
It's very hard work, you know, being an engaged person and trying to run a business at the same time. Yeah. Your mind tends to wander to other things.
Now, seaside humour certainly has its knockers. And there are none finer than those sported by the voluptuous Nurse Gladys Emmanuel.
Nurse Gladys Emmanuel had the best bust in the business.
That bosom was all her own, I have to tell you. The rest of her was padding. I used to see it hanging up in the dressing room. But the boobs were hers, and always had been.
Oh, the poor lad. You must be a blight on his adolescence.
Hey! Granville, come out of there at once.
You leave him alone.
Alone? He's not alone, is he? He's got two friends in there with him, hasn't he?
Holding David Jason to my bosom got me in a lot of trouble, because anybody who'd had a few drinks in a pub thought that was funny and would try. So there's a few fellas with bent noses around and...
I'm not sure he can breathe.
I can breathe.
But don't talk with your mouth full. Come on out.
The boobs did contribute a lot. Well, to Arkwright's perception of her. I mean, that's what he wanted to get his hands on.
I just wanted to check on your bread order. Is it there two large whites?
There are a lot of men who like a big chest on a woman. I mean, that seems to me simply a statement of fact, not of gross sexism, really. You know, he did talk to her, he tried to take her out and everything, OK, just to get his hands on the bosom. But, you know, fair enough.
I say you've got a couple of nice and squashy ones there, love.
When sex wasn't so much in your face and out there, then it was naughty. And those seaside postcards and that kind of vulgarity was a kind of naughtiness and a fun that we just don't get now.
Open All Hours is part of the great British tradition of corner shops. Before supermarkets made the weekly purchase into a Stepford experience, customers were actually served by people who might possibly know their stock and maybe even knew your name.
The corner shop has always been a sort of emblem. That's why the series worked so well, I think, because it was a focal point for people.
What's this free gift, Arkwright? It's not like you.
No, well, it's just competition, Mrs. Blewett. It's a little incentive for the small shopper, you see. Yes, it's just a little handy container in a choice of colours. What sort of colour would you prefer?
How do I know when I don't know what it is?
Oh, well, allow me to choose it for you, will you? Now, let me see. That's half a pound of rice, Mrs. Blewett. That'll be 16p, thank you. Anything else at all while you're here?
Where's my free gift?
Oh, I've taken the liberty of putting your rice in it.
We've got little corner shops all over the country which are surviving. I mean, they're hanging on there by their teeth, but they are surviving. I'm not sure that Arkwright would have done, because he didn't exactly go with the swing. He didn't sort of look to the future, did he?
Prices what? Granville, fetch your cloth. We're not reducing things all that much, so you have no right to go having us a slash on that window.
The real-life shop is in Doncaster and was and still is a hairdresser's, but through the magic of television it became Arkwright's, not only stocking everything the discerning shopper could hope for, but also containing all the elements a great sitcom could ever need.
The shop was an ideal situation. Unlimited props, for instance. You've got the ability for people to walk in and out. Different characters. You could get rid of a character as soon as you wanted him. Or they can come back.
What now? Sit! Ooh, could I have a packet of condition powders, Dick?
Or they could never be seen again.
Down! Sit! Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
They've changed. They may be run by Mr. Patel, but it's the same thing. They're still doing something very important. And very British, actually, aren't they? Come to think of it.
How delightful.
Oh, always a pleasure to see a new face.
Oh, I never knew they still existed.
What, new faces? Oh, yes. Yes, you find them just underneath new people's hats, you know.
No, not new faces.
Oh.
No, these places. Poky little shops.
His love of money is just Arkwright. There are some people who love money, and there's some people who love to give it away, and Arkwright was one who loved money.
You must regard the modern pound note as a little fish out of water. Whereupon common human decency demands that you get it as quickly as you can into this little aquarium here.
You'd feel he would never shortchange anybody particularly, but he would never let someone off the extra penny if they didn't have it.
Well, that'll be 97p, love. Thank you. Oh, don't bother about the 3p. You can owe it me.
Oh,
The few customers that he did get, he had to get as much money out of them as he possibly could. So I suppose, in a way, he wasn't so much greedy as survivalist.
Surely it's not a coincidence that when the Iron Lady was still an Iron Girl, her Iron parents owned a corner shop. And so, when years later, the Iron Woman stumbled across open all hours one night whilst relaxing over an oil change, it must have been love at first sight.
I mean, quite interesting, of course, because, Margaret Thatcher's father was a grocer, had a small shop in Grantham.
I sometimes feel as if I started life living over the shop, and I live over the shop now, because people always come up. Is it possible? Well, I'm always on the job. People think that...
I think Margaret Thatcher might have been an Arkwright if she'd had a better stutter.
The ladies not for turning.
I wouldn't have minded him as Prime Minister, actually. He wouldn't have wasted a lot of money. But, yeah, I think Arkwright for Prime Minister is not a bad idea.
Well, come on, you're not playing the Warsaw Concerto. Get it in.
Oh, I don't like it. It's dangerous.
Oh, you big girl's blouse. Give it in.